Okay, let us look at chapter 4 of the Screwtape letters. Uncle Screwtape starts out by saying, "It seems like your patient's prayers has gotten out of hand. It is obvious that we should attempt to keep him away from praying completely. In order to do this," Uncle Screwtape says, "try to remind your patient about the parrot-like prayers he used to say as a child. This might make him attempt to aim at something entirely spontaneous, inward, informal, and unregularized. This might force him to pray in such a mood of devotion or mysticism and keep him away from concentration of his will and his intelligence. The prayers we want are not on bended knee and with moving lips, but as the poet Coleridge describes, composed his spirit to love and indulged a sense of supplication. Your patient constantly forgets, and you must always remember that they are animals and the position of their bodies affects their souls." Uncle Screwtape is telling his nephew Wormwood that the prayers are becoming too powerful right now and that they need to do something about it, and the thing that is to be done is to try to draw him away from just getting down on his knees and praying and try to have a spontaneous prayer life that is inward and informal and unregularized. Keep him away from this, "I need to pray at 8 o'clock every night to get down and have your 10-minute prayers." Let's get away from that kind of thing and try to make things informal and unregularized so that they become kind of off the hoof type of prayers and that they no longer have the same power. Basically, to become more focused on feelings while you pray than on actually getting down to praying and asking God for certain things. We can look at the example of Daniel in Daniel 6 for this. In Daniel 6, we can see how Daniel had a time and a place where he would pray. Daniel would pray 3 times a day, so he had a time set apart to pray. He had a place set apart to pray, and he had a way that he prayed that was down on his knees every day. It seems like this is boring, and it seems like this is not the way that prayer should be. However, this is the way that Daniel prayed, and he was powerful in prayer. His prayers availed much, and therefore it is very important for us to have a time and a place where we do pray. And we should not think that prayer should be some kind of a mystical experience where we feel good and where we're self-focused and we're trying to appeal to ourselves. Prayer is going to God and asking Him to intervene in people's lives. And there's nothing mystical and there's nothing fun and feeling-filled about it. This is what Screwtape says. "In order to keep them away from thinking about God, get them to try to produce feelings in themselves while praying. This will keep them focused on themselves. Instead of them asking for love, let them try to produce love by their own strength. When they should be praying for courage, let them attempt to be brave. When they should be praying for forgiveness, let them try to feel forgiveness." So what he's saying is, when your person prays, when the patient prays, try to focus his attention back on himself and have him try to produce the feelings that he wants. So instead of asking God for love, have him try to feel more love himself. Instead of asking God to help him forgive so-and-so, help him try on his own to forgive him and to feel forgiveness. So have him seek after feelings in prayer and not focus on God and on others during his prayer. This is what Screwtape says. "Teach them to estimate the value of each prayer by the success in producing the desired feeling." Basically, have him believe that the way you feel during prayer and the feelings produced by your prayer is what is important and is the desired outcome of prayer. If you can have him thinking about his own feeling and chasing his own desires in prayer, you have won him over, and his prayers are no longer effective for God. It is a great benefit to us that humans do not really know God as we do. Often when they pray, their picture of Jesus is that of a shepherd holding a sheep on his shoulders, for instance. They have a vague understanding of the Holy Spirit and of God the Father. Some even truly pray with the idea that God is in the crucifix, or on the wall, or vaguely in the room, or in their heads. You must keep them praying to such a vague God, to a God that they make up themselves. We must keep him at all costs away from the understanding that only God truly knows himself, and to leave oneself into his hands. You must always try to bring the prayer back to his self and to feelings and to his understanding of God. Do not allow him to move his prayers towards others, towards God himself, and to just leave the feelings and leave his desires behind. So that when he's praying, he's not trying to picture God with him. He's not trying to envision God in any way, but just to leave the results up to God.